Hey everybody, welcome to Proverbs for Life. We're taking ancient wisdom and applying it to a modern world. I think we would all agree that our world needs some assistance, needs some guidance. And so we're going to be taking some kind of ancient proverbial wisdom and applying it to our everyday life. And I want to show you Proverbs 11:1. I think it's a simple yet very powerful and challenging proverb for every one of us. Look how it reads. Dishonest scales are detestable to the Lord, but an accurate weight is his delight. You know, the first thing you want to do is you want to see the contrasts. What's being juxtaposed in the proverb? Well, it's pretty simple. Dishonest scales is being juxtaposed with accurate weights. And what's the outcome? Detestable to the Lord versus a delight to the Lord. So let's look at this very quickly. What are dishonest scales? Some of you might have a reading that says deceitful scales. That's actually a pretty good translation of that word. The idea is that these are scales that are being used to deceive the people around them so that the benefit goes to the seller. This is what would happen in the marketplace. You would have these people that were dishonest salespeople, and they would always favor the scale in favor of them and take advantage of people, oftentimes less fortunate than themselves. But what this is getting at isn't merely the scale. It's getting at the heart behind the scale, because that's what drives a dishonest scale. It's the deceptive heart. It's the dishonest heart that sees itself as more important than the people around them. And that is what is detestable, is the fact that I might view myself as more important than you or someone else, and I'm always trying to bend things in my favor so that I get something at your expense, as opposed to having an accurate weight, meaning an honest, a true weight, that there is no deception involved, that because I see you as just as important as me, because I see you as somebody that is just like me, that I would not want to be treated that way. I would not want to be deceived. I would not want to be taken advantage of. That is a delight, because now I see you as just as equivalent as me. And that's the power of the proverb. See, our hearts have a natural bent towards favoring ourselves. And that's what we have to be careful of. If you've ever been in sales, you know how tempting it is sometimes to not necessarily share everything about the product or the service, because not everything necessarily is good news for the person who's potentially going to purchase it or buy it. And so it's easy sometimes to fudge, to bend a little bit so that it favors you. And maybe later they find out, after they've made the purchase, after they made the acquisition, they found the small print. And you might say, well, you should have read the small print. But see, the reality is that is a dishonest scale. That is a deceitful scale. And what we're called to do is we're called to have an accurate weight, to treat others the way you would want to be treated yourself. And so what do? We begin being honest with our hearts, with other people, just to make sure that we're not trying to always take advantage of situations in our favor. It's so easy to do on our taxes. It's so easy to do when you're selling a car. If you've ever tried to sell a car, it's easy to maybe not want to tell somebody, a buyer, about some issue with the car that maybe later they're going to find out for themselves. There's so many examples. We don't have to be the Bernie Madoffs of this world who get away with billions of dollars of stealing people's money to be this person. You can be somebody who's simply selling a car to another person. You can be somebody who's simply bending the facts, or not necessarily lying, but not telling the full truth, because you get the benefit out of it at the expense of the other person. So let's let this proverb challenge us. It should challenge our hearts to truly be upright, to be honest, to make sure that our scales are fair, that they're honest scales, they're accurate scales. And in doing that, if you remember another video that I did, you then will begin to continue to build a good name. And nothing in this life is more important than a good name.